button.
Welcome back to
I saw a
Dragon
mud
Blood.
crab the other day. Dreadful things.
Thanks.
Old man is just saying that to himself on the roof.
Welcome back
I've
to
heard of the
Dragon
wild
Blood.
elves.
I'll get you for this. Skipping the intro, last time the group convened Parliament, or rather, Parliament was convened nearby, and they decided to come crash the party and see what was going on. Listened in on some interesting political debates about what to do with the state of the tensions in the region, whether or not they should loan their support. Then otherwise just kind of poked around the capital city of the Fallen River Valley. Oh, and in addition, they went and saw Koi Invictus up in her tower after Milan learned sorcery, seeking approval from her to teach new spells, and there was a bit of an argument between her and Old Man that they'd had many times before, but not in the presence of so many other people. At least so many other people who could follow what was going on. But other than that, at the current state, the situation is that the crew has retired to one of the local tea houses with the open invitation for members of Parliament to come discuss things with them or just say hello after flexing the weight of the realm at them and kind of cowing them into submission and also performing the entire tax code relating to the mining things. That was a whole deal as well. In the meantime, though, Thousand Miracles Yang did give a brief mention that he would be out for the whole night, probably.
You know, doing stuff.
Just doing stuff, and it would be nice / incredibly important, maybe, for you to be very visible and not involved with anything strange or violent.
I think probably both Angler and Obsidian would somehow find notes in their pockets at some point of like, take Milan to the most public place you can. Or the most public inn you can, specifically.
Just be very prominently, visibly not involved with something that
Create
I'm not
alibi.
Yeah.
With that request, I believe I can set a tangible scene for how we are going about business with the inn staying. So, like in the open common space at the center of such places, Repose has gone ahead and commandeered one of the fireplaces and set it up as an environment in which to steam and weaken up the log that is going to be used to make Milan's Sorcerer's Mask.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just got it kind of like up on a spit, roasting as though it were a fine cut of meat. And is just tending to it gently and occasionally, just reaching over and deftly carving off a delicately thin deli slice and then laying it into the mold of the mask.
Mm-hmm.
To solidify.
Yeah, so over the first couple of hours, like not even hours, it would probably over the first hour after Parliament lets out, you get a very long parade of people who are introduce themselves and very much are like, trying to curry favor, so much so that it becomes somewhat interchangeable. The names and faces all begin to blur together. It's clear that they're trying to less open a diplomatic relationship and more please don't crush me and or hey, do you have any sort of, kickbacks? Because I'm here for that. But it's mostly just pleasantries and political back and forth for the first little while, which would set the scene for the discussion to happen. That was going to happen while Yang was out and about planning things.
Yes. Good to meet you. Yes. Hello. Yes. Hello. Good to meet you. Yes. That's a very cute dog. Yes. Hello. Nice to meet you.
Out in the distance, you hear Old Man speaking with someone who happened to pop up onto the roof. I don't know you and I don't care to know you. I don't know you and I don't care to know you. I don't know you and I don't care to know you.
You can keep that up all day. Don't try.
Is that just him talking to every single guard that comes up there to try to get the old man off of the roof? There's an old man on the roof. We need to get him off the roof.
He says he doesn't know us and doesn't care to know us.
Weird, he just kind of rotates his head and it sticks there.
And then all of a
It
sudden,
seems
like,
strange,
after
I
he's-
know, but in the Fallen River we are accustomed to such things. things.
He speaks to you, and he seems like he has a perfectly regular face, but then, like, seconds later, his face turns into a grimace, and it stays like that.
Mm-hmm. Someone's trying to play the pie mini game with old man and just never finding a way to make it work.
Never will.
All directions lead to anger.
Yeah, every direction is just
Yep.
contempt.
His only response to coerce is just laughing at you.
The bribe button is permanently grayed out.
No, the bribe button, instead of having a UI element, has just got a question mark. Just, with what?
For any person who comes up to talk to Milan in the actual and proper, Angler has like a sheet of papers in front of him. He's slowly writing down any information, possible deals, favors, or whatever, and also just keeping a detailed list of when people arrived and left.
Yep, that's pretty simple. The first really notable visitor you get is the large jowly man who was the shouting one in the parliament when you first arrived. Kind of comes in very much kind of, actually give me a read intentions, and if you want to size up how he's entering and just kind of give him a read.
Sure thing. Four successes.
All right, you're getting the impression of somebody who is used to owning the place and is not entirely sure how to tone that down, but knows he probably should. So, like, he's turned the volume down a little bit, but isn't quite sure what to actually do about that. He's still kind of got the swagger of like, yeah, I'm important here. I'm the big man. I'm in the government, but also there's a realm official over there, and maybe I shouldn't do that too loudly. It's just the awkwardness is just kind of right underneath the skin. As he approaches the table, and is just like, I wanted to extend my thanks once again for your assistance in the debates, Master Milan.
Yes, of course. Of course. I don't believe I got your name.
My name, just one moment while I actually get the notes for sorting out which had name.
Open up name generator and hit randomize.
Not that, but my name is Femiscue.
Femiscue. A pleasure.
He kind of nods his head a little bit, just unsure if he should be bowing or just still treating as equals, or
I motion for him to have a seat.
he takes a very confused but grateful seat. I'm. Again. It's clear he didn't think quite all the way this far. He was just kind of expecting pleasantries rather than the seat. I am hoping that you found our form of government to your liking, Master Venif.
Yes, intriguing. More words, less fireballs. Fascinating.
Oh, there you are. He looks kind of taken back. I had taken that as rather slanderous rumor.
Metaphorical.
I apologize.
Heh.
I had heard word that in the interregnum period, your deliberative had been taking more steps to involve itself with the direct practice of governance. Not that they had not had, of course, all the power that your Empress, Scarlet Empress, renowned.
Indeed, they've been far more proactive as of late. I could definitely see some of the underlying elements within the deliberative, as I have seen within your own parliament.
Well, I rather. He actually catches himself mid-sentence as he's becoming off guard and like very much was beginning to ease in, and then realizing, wait, shit, still talking to him, realm official. uh, it does have its pitfalls, and I would rather imagine that your deliberative is able to much more deftly avoid the displays that were on account for you upon your arrival.
Oh, I am sure everyone has their moments of weakness.
Indeed. Unfortunately, it seems for many of our local members that our weaknesses is all they have. Venality, lack of spine. They turn their head to whatever coin shines most in their eye.
Indeed, the powerful are drawn to shiny things.
He kind of blinks for a moment before glancing back over to Obsidian and Angler as the established handlers of, like, how the look in his eyes is desperately pleading of how formal do I have to be, or am I being fucked with?
Angler just keeps right on writing. He's barely even looking up. It's just, and then he pauses, and then
You're just
kind
getting that
of does
look of
like a
mods?
thing with the hand.
Help.
Just
Yeah,
kind of
just
like a
mods
half
help.
wave.
Milan is deliberately seeing how far he can push this guy until he breaks kayfabe.
Is this entrapment?
I had been hoping to, perhaps in a more quiet and conducive environment without undue shouting and influence from others, discuss further potential outreach between the realm and the Fallen River Valley. Perhaps not as an official diplomatic method, but simply as, as a he's desperately searching for a metaphor.
A
Visible on his
meeting
face.
of the minds.
Yes, like a grandchild looking up to a revered ancestor.
At this moment, a
Involuntary twitch away from the log, from repose. He is suddenly tuned into the conversation.
At this point, a waiter brings by some drinks, and I actually put one of them in front of him.
Your hospitality is quite generous. Thank you. Would you like anything in return?
Let us speak.
Well, very well. He takes the glass and very, very much on reflex that you can tell is not just you. This is something that is baked in him. He takes a sniff of it and then takes a small sip, puts it down, waits a couple of seconds, and then starts drinking it properly. This man is quite careful.
Yes. So, you wanted to speak of mercantile matters? Perhaps diplomatic?
Mercantile, possibly, and perhaps diplomatic in general. As I confess, few truly noteworthy and trustworthy accounts of the realm make it this far out beyond the voice of Great Falls itself, which, as I'm sure you may understand, the voice of the satrapy is quite different than the voice of the realm in Isles itself. So I was merely curious as to what exactly... He's, again, searching... How do I say this?
I'm going to cut him off right there and say, well, I will say that the realm's current interests their eyes do not fall on the Fallen River province.
Well...
Sorry, the Fallen River Valley.
Valley.
I misspoke there.
Well, that is a relief in itself, but, other parts of me, I must confess, are more curious than professional. It's a rare occasion to speak with such an illustrious guest, of course. I'm merely...
Please. Call me Milan.
Of course, Master Milan. I was merely of the rather intense curiosity. I've heard these rather horrid and dire rumors coming from Grey Falls. The sort of chatter one doesn't put much mind to until it begins to repeat itself. Of potential independent-mindedness coming from the satrapy.
Oh, hang on one sec. I am looking at something to determine what role I want to make.
Okay.
I want to get more out of this rumor without letting on that I don't know anything.
Sure. That would probably be wit socialize.
Okay, let's socialize. Do I have a charm that would be relevant to this? I'll just spend 2 motes for a free success.
Mm.
That is not roll 20. That is the chat.
We've all done that at least once.
Yeah. I've caught myself.
Five successes.
You immediately get a beat on what he is trying to delicately approach to you as, I've heard some people talking about maybe the satrapy should just fuck off if the Empress is gone. And he's trying to see if telling you that is either going to get him killed, if you're on their side, or if this is something that he can use to curry favor with you by snitching.
Give me a moment to I'm going to let on that he has intrigued me and I don't have high opinion of the satrapy. I'm just trying to figure out my wording.
Right.
Yes, the satrap of Grey Falls. A rough gentleman, bit more self-interested than most.
Yes, I'm, just as a correction, the satrap is a woman. The one you met with.
Yep. I remember him.
What I'm saying is, she.
She. It was a she?
Yeah, the satrap
I completely
is...
missed that. I'm sorry.
Understandable.
No,
it
it's
was
good.
exactly one scene.
It was one scene
Months
several
ago.
months ago, so
Yes.
that...
Yes.
So you're fine.
She is...
I thought you were doing a bit.
more self-interested than most.
Yes, I've heard the, you see his eyes very suddenly conspicuously snap to all of your clothing, trying to check for signs. House, I believe Sinus is the name. Their ill reputation does find a way of traveling even this far.
Indeed, the cynics get around.
He actually choked on his drink a little bit as he realizes that was a non-purpose double entendre, at least in his eye. Well, yes, so they say. But I merely worry that with such treacherous intent, possible, of course, insinuated, who knows what this is, the ramblings of, provocative paid informants on the streets or not, but should it come to attempted sedition within Grey Falls, I believe that the Fallen River Valley would prefer to have a connection to the Isle closer to us, but as friendly rather than an independent unknown actor that may turn its eyes outward.
Indeed. The open hand is preferable to the unsheathed sword.
Yes. Wise proverb.
This fucking guy.
This guy is trying so hard to look impressive in front of you, and it is just God.
when God, you say that line, the open hand is better than the closed sword. Angler stops what he's writing, just closes his eyes slightly, and then continues writing, noting, I will get him for this later.
This turned back into regular politic chat quickly enough. The repose is back in a woodworking fugue.
Yep.
Very wood slash
Obsidian-
meatworking fugue.
Obsidian checked out of this conversation like almost 2 words. He just does not care for political talk.
A lot of very delicate.
Obsidian might be
magplay across
taking
the
joy out
surface
of the
of
incredible
Milan.
discomfort.
Oh, yeah,
Milan-
okay, yeah. I'm not paying attention to what's being talked about, but I am definitely just loving watching this man squirm.
A lot of
Milan
tranquil
is-
muttering about.
Doing his damn best to keep a laughter from building out.
The joy of carpentry is playing out over by the fireplace.
Yes.
We're just gonna take light, gentle strokes with the chisel. Just peel away those layers. Let's follow the grain.
Vensky just says, well, perhaps not to belabor the matter much, I see that you have... He kind of turns his head around, and there is conspicuously several very upper-class men and women in an establishment they would not normally be in, very clearly waiting for this private conversation to end. I would rather not offend my colleagues by taking up too much of your time, but so long as perhaps my meaning is clear and the longer term connection could be possibly made, and so he this is where he finally just starts to dissolve. I trust you understand the reasoning for our meeting.
Indeed. And I go to stand up, and I assume that he does as well.
He bolts up the second you do.
And I give a professional bow to him.
You stand up, he stands up, you sit back down.
Yeah, he bows to the point where he almost spills his drink, but basically barely keeps it back holding level. I bid you a good evening, Master Milan.
Indeed. And a
Turns
good
on
day.
his heel, stomps back outside, draining the rest of the drink as he goes, puts it on the table, leaves, is clearly trying to just like, okay, I'm not dead, that makes me the victor.
As soon as he exits out, gets out the door and out of sight, Milan lets out a deep, I completely forgot his name.
That's all right. I have the name right here.
Just as like, whew, I didn't have to say thank you, person's name who I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
This moment of, dodge that faux pas.
Mm-hmm.
On to the next one.
The next most are relatively not involved, but this is a good meanwhile.
Meanwhile, at
Over
this
in the
very
Yang Zone,
same Yaku man.
at that very same city.
It's probably like 11, maybe almost midnight.
Mm-hmm.
So Yakuman is currently standing on the rooftops looking off in the middle distance. And he's got, what's that in his hand? Weird. It's some sort of device. It's got a button on it. I'm going to click it.
Beep. There's a moment of, hang on, wasn't this supposed to
Did I fuck this up?
beep, 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 beep? There's the
Oh, no,
fire.
I didn't. Oh, thank God. Whew, I didn't fuck up the formula. Anyways, I'm saying the plantation's on fire. All of them. And several key buildings.
Mood.
So, all at once, across the city,
So
multiple-
yeah. Once I see the fires, I push the detonator of my back and I go, "Oh my God, the city is on fire! I better get into gear!
and
Away!
off Yakuman
save.
goes towards the blazes to save the innocent.
Oh, I gotta go get the innocent people. Who would have done that? Who would have done this terrible thing?"
So Yakuman immediately bolts, having a list in Yakuman's head of the people to bail out first, the ones who don't actually have anything to do with this. the domestic staff in the buildings owned by certain political personages, or
For a quick reference for the chat here, when they say that they're setting the the places with the slaves,
Yes.
slave work,
Yeah,
the slave
plantation.
labor.
This is specifically there's not plantations inside the city. This is the slave owner businesses that have all burst. Not
Using
all,
it as
but
shorthand,
mostly
but,
burst
like,
into
the especially monstrous ones that I can make enough
this.
hate juice for. In
There
time.
is a specific person whose properties all just burst into flames, and scattered properties owned by the other ones that Yang identified are now.
I love the rest action.
Remember, Yang specifically found a list of slavers and shit.
Yeah, the Yang was able to visually identify the people who were uncomfortable with the slave trade being cut out of the middle, and thus got a list. So, in the meantime, in one of the burning buildings, a bunch of people are running around in an absolute panic as fire is beginning to consume the entire building, including the main support beams, when suddenly through the door bursts an incredibly garishly colored but
Civilians, follow me. Safety is this away. I, Yakuman, will see you out of the hazard situation that you are all in.
considering that their entire environment is currently on fire, they're not questioning the provenance of their savior so much as they're looking for any way out. So they immediately run for the exits, following the green, purple, gold, cat-colored somebody out of the building, not asking too many questions until they do, at which point, once they've caught their breath and turned to ask questions, Yakuman away! Just this mysterious, savior, avenger, crusader, miscreant?
Weirdo who got us out of the burning building.
Yeah. So this repeats itself 4 or 5 times through the city as Yakuman is sprinting at top supernatural speeds to building to get the people who are not actually,
They're not
morally
in danger. I mean, I didn't set fires to like the places where people would be, just the places that generate money. But they don't know that.
Yep. So people who are proximate but not in life-saving danger as far as they know. Well, they think they're in.
Oh, the fire could spread at any moment. Quickly, get out.
Exactly.
It can't spread at any moment. It's a controlled burn.
Yakuman was extremely meticulous about making sure no innocents would be hit by this fire, but he would scare the shit out of them. So Yakuman is bolting around, establishing a very convenient, large, incredibly loud alibi as this strange costumed figure who is helping civilians en masse from this sudden attack of arson. And as this is going on, the inn begins to be slightly disrupted as people are coming in with reports of, holy fuck, like a third of the city is starting to have fires across it.
Once everyone's safely out and just kind of burning, I'm going to be on top of a rooftop, audibly monologuing. I couldn't stop it in time. I'm a failure. At least I got the people. I'm going to be doing a Batman monologue, but at least I got the important people out. That's all that matters. Can I roll a performance for this?
You know what? Yes.
Okay, what?
Okay.
With your manipulation
what were you
performance
saying?
there.
No. Go ahead.
What are you aiming to express with your?
I'm on a rooftop. I'm watching the city burn, and I dropped on my knees and go, I could have stopped this if I was just stronger.
You raise your voice to the heavens and shake your fist to the uncaring stars that twinkle above, proclaiming that your undying vendetta against whatever injustice would so callously target these. Wait, hang on.
Those ruffians! I'll find them yet. Don't worry, citizens.
So, just very, to the point where people on the ground are partially hearing this monologue as you swear to the heavens that you will find and identify and track down whoever this miscreant is and vanish into the night to pursue your quarry.
It's like 1 or 2 in the morning.
As an aside, when people come into the inn honking and hooting about the fires that have broken out, Obsidian and Spanner definitely exchange a glance.
Oh fuck.
Oh, we're doing that, huh?
Just keeps right on writing the information down as they're
No,
going
no, no.
through.
It's less. We're gonna do something about it, and more. God damn it! Because again, you apparently
Goddamn.
left notes for us.
I extremely give the person I'm currently talking to the look of, is this normal?
No, this is not normal. I am sorry to interrupt this. Like, they give a look back of, I'm sorry to be so a faux pas to immediately interrupt this conversation, but holy shit, fire. So,
We
like,
can't seem to put it out. It's like a weird alcohol.
weirdly
affair.
powerful alchemical fire. So, like, yeah, it's like there's reports of people who are, like, trying to put out the fires and it will not go down. Water seems to only make it angrier. Salt and sand seem to kind of work a little bit, but where are you going to get that much sand at this hour, at this notice?
Maybe this
So-
would be a good point for you to think of some sort of alchemical way to fix this and curry favor this late into the night. The genius Milan of the House of Anif, who has nothing to do with this. You wanted a Kirky Eyes, motherfucker.
You know,
Your
I can do
wasn't
it.
Kirky isn't more an Overstein.
Not thinking
know-
about my little brother's dalliances into terrorism. Just thinking about wood.
no, I can get behind this. I can work with this.
And we just want to fish a few of these little splinters out of the pool here. There's going to be a few left behind, but don't worry. These little stragglers are going to be put to use. Just take the ends of those, give them a little twist, and out pops those fibers. Look at that, just like a little brush. He is probably mostly
What? I-
speaking
I
to
know
Moat,
what to
who
do in
is
the
completely
aftermath.
fascinated by a thing happening. Warm thing.
So, yeah, would Milan get involved in this, or would Milan attempt to be maintaining, you know?
Milan's going to use elemental concentration trance to introduce a fact about the weather.
All right.
Oh no.
Oh, did I plan for a migratory for a fucking rainstorm to come in at just the right time?
Well, as you said, it appears that water seems to just anger it. So no. In fact, something peculiar happens.
All right, roll to establish.
Totally wasting time as I figure out what that peculiar thing is. Typing
My God, is
in
that Jimbus?
numbers.
All right, five successes. What's the fact?
Hey, what's Jimbus doing all the way out here?
That's gonna need more than 5.
Okay,
That's,
okay.
That's
Yeah,
multiple days away.
You can't just bring Jimbus everywhere.
I know.
Jimbus
I'm-
lives where Jimbus lives.
Yes, that is true.
I like
okay,
I like
so
where you're going with the weather, though.
Like,
so
you-
actually no, because as
Timely
you
weather.
said, the water seems to anger it more, and instead, what happens is the moisture in the air, like the level of precipitation, drops so that the air is so dry, the fire starts to run out of it's
It's a weird fucked up chemical thing that runs off
Yeah.
of water instead of oxygen.
yeah.
So it starts to desiccate the air around, and it starts to burn out quick. Because
Yeah,
it's
actually,
just-
that makes a lot of sense. That like, hey, just cover it up. Just put like
Also,
giant sheets over
I
it.
would float in here that the the colossal level of success Yakuman had on bemoaning that this tragedy was
Yes.
befalling. That's divine intervention levels
Yeah.
of performance.
Yes, this-
Gods
you
were
can
watching you
introduce
do that.
Yes, this was. You can introduce a fact specifically for a god
Here-
coming in to handle
Yep.
this.
Here was a mood
Seriously?
of immense scale. If only
And-
some unspecified person would answer these people's needs. Someone's gonna take
And-
that check.
And as all the air around the fire shifts away from it, leaving just the fire and no air for it to burn, it goes and slowly starts to die out as it kills itself.
As it turns
Burns-
out, the last
burns
victim
itself
that
away.
Yakuman couldn't save was the fire itself.
Fuck.
Such a tragedy. Anyways, there's gonna need to be a building project to replace all those
So
broken
construction
buildings.
materials, huh? Who wants some building materials?
I'm sure the
How about some cheap labor we can import? Hmm?
I'm sure the Empire, in its infinite graciousness, would be willing to donate resources to rebuilding stuff, as long as such resources were used in the proper manner to benefit those who were harmed in it, such as those innocent folks that Yakuman saved.
This is just narratively speaking. I think this would be a good moment for the discussion about Yang while Yang is not here, as the next cutaway to Yang will be
Yeah.
the last thing Yang is doing.
Yes.
So
It's also a huge tone turn.
yeah.
So while we have a bit of the existence of the current crisis has probably reduced the flow of politicians who think
they're
best use
not
their
even
time
paying
is small
attention
talking with us. Yeah, so we got a moment of privacy here. So Repose will pull away from the woodwork while is in a relatively stable position. Settle in with the rest of the group. So, let things of import not go unsaid. Do we exile Yang?
The lights of a dying fire are literally coming through the window as this is asked.
The question is, does he know what he did is truly wrong?
He has
That's where
trespassed
I'm-
against us. He has spied on us. He has challenged the trust we placed in him as one of our sworn kin.
And what was he
And
taught
yet,
to do as a child?
brother, like, a moment is we have to make mistakes to learn from them. If he does not know that he did something wrong and we exile him for it, is that a lesson?
I agree. And more importantly, to cast him away from us at this moment would be to throw him directly into the arms of another.
Mm-hmm.
Though I may harbor some misgivings regarding many of his manners, I would not place any of our extended family back into the subjugation our ancestors fought so valiantly to escape.
His heart's in the right place. He needs to think, consider the consequences of his actions.
And grow up.
Oh no.
If anything can be said to have become clear regarding our youngest brother, it is apparent that his first adopters, shall we say, were terribly negligent in inducting him into the family.
I think that is putting it lightly, but yeah.
It's unnatural,
Ironically,
then, that it would fall to us to correct this.
Where do you think we should start?
perhaps we should just first speak to him as his brothers.
Oh, this is going to take a heart-wrenching turn.
Mm-hmm. I think a slow explanation of what his master is and was to our people, and what she is being irresponsible with her power, would be a proper explanation for why we disapprove.
But would that really work for Yang?
That is my concern. It needs an explanation that Yang understands. Just outright telling him, no, what you're doing is wrong with no explanation it won't sink in for Yang. I myself don't associate much with the teachings of our kind for my own separation and trying to live by my own. But, and sort of gestures, I've had my own discussions with our brother at repose.
In that respect, you honor our heritage more dearly than most.
But I've had my discussions with our brother, and I understand how deeply this upsets him. And when hearing a bit more of the history, the amount that she is flaunting her power without using it as she should in order to maybe solve some of these problems around her is deeply upsetting. I judge each person by the merits of their own deeds, and her deeds, quite frankly, have not shown her in a good light, in my opinion.
She is taking advantage of our youngest brother's innocent mind.
Naivety, yes.
Yang is an inquisitive fellow. Perhaps he just needs to be pushed in a direction he needs to research.
I think we've established enough to fade back away from that. The ideas have been
Well,
put forth.
now this is gonna be.
No, go do your crimes, son.
Yep.
I know. All right. So now it's
the
3 in the
crime-
morning or something, right?
The crimes
The
we don't
fire-
have an issue with.
The
This
fires are
Praxis,
out.
son.
That's cool.
Mhm.
And,
fires
you
are
know, the big racists or the big slaver, whatever. The big shit heel is probably doing his rounds.
Garrow
Yang's somewhere in
extremely-
hiding.
Mhm.
Not Yakuman, Yang. And he's just gonna poison him and then run away giggling into the woods. Well, not giggling, but internally giggling.
Effectively, what is happening is the head of the labor force of Tintin, the one who was primarily using slaves as, well, as long as I get value out of them that is better than the value I purchased them for, I don't care if they die, was number 1 on Yang's kill list. So Yang set these fires to lure him out of hiding, and upon doing so, as he is inspecting the ashes of one of his former properties, shoots him in the back with a bolt covered in an incredibly powerful plant-based poison that gives him a swift but incredibly painful and publicly agonizing death, as Yang basically is briefly seen as a shadowed, disguised figure on a roof that disappears into the night, not to be seen. As the guards quickly realize that, well, we are not saving him, actually.
Oh my god, someone took advantage of this tragedy to assassinate someone for political reasons. Someone who is not Yakuman.
It was decidedly not a giant, garish, purple and green cat-covered asshole who shot him, yes.
These 2 crimes could not be further apart. Must be different people.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, shortly after the fires were put out via divine intervention, Slaver was shot in the back with a normal crossbow bolt covered in accessible, if somewhat a little rare and accessible to
You probably
like
have to be rich to get it, but like any rich
rich
person.
politician poison. That
Yeah.
is, it turned his death into a spectacle.
Now they're all going to be thinking who did it. And it was Killer Man. Killer Man did it.
Again, Killer Man. Why must you always strike?
So he's
Kill-
probably, so
kill-
Yang's probably gonna like hide, per assassin protocol he got taught.
In the meantime, hey, roll me perception awareness, please.
Me specifically.
Yes.
Killer
Huh,
Man, who is the eternal adversary of Yahoo Man. When will he catch that Killer Man?
As you are running away, basically, to
You put a less than instead of a greater than there, so that's only 3.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Whew.
as
you
you
can
are
spend
running,
willpower to bump that up.
Would a 4 make a difference?
no, it would not. As you were running through the night, through the ashes of the destruction you've caused, and the death rattles of the man you've killed still in your ears, through a pane of broken glass on the ground as you are running, you catch the briefest glimpse of a tall figure somewhere off to the side of you, watching you. Just unnaturally tall and thin, with some slick substance on one hand, glimmering in the moonlight.
Huh.
And as you turn to look at it, there's nothing there. And when you
I'm
look
gonna,
back at the
I'm gonna
glass,
immediately stop in a forest clearing somewhere and just kind of start listening.
you would have to keep running out of the city to do that. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna run back. My plan was now to run to the waiting out period, but now I'm gonna go run somewhere completely as far away from the hearth as I can, actually, because I'm made. At least I think I'm made. This is just standard protocol. The second you think you're being tailed by anything, you go somewhere, you wait it out, and you die.
Yeah. Well.
Yep.
You bail into the woods then.
I'm just gonna sit there, turn off my humanity, and listen for sounds until morning or someone finds me.
You are unable categorically to get any information on whatever that was. There is no rule you can make that would get you that information.
Well, it's probably 6 now then, when dawn's breaking.
Yeah. You would be basically waiting until dawn, until the sun comes up, with nothing happening.
Well, I'm gonna take the long way back home then.
All right, and you are able to make it back into the city without incident to you, but very clearly the city is unsettled by the
Wow, something
widespread
must have happened when I was asleep. Weird.
widespread arson and also prominent political assassination in the middle of the night.
I'll be right back, actually.
And yeah, by the time the hearth goes to bed and wakes up, they have heard that one of the members of parliament was found dead with a poison crossbow bolt in the back at the base of one of his burned properties. And the accusations have already begun flying among members of parliament as to who the fuck did this? Who the fuck did this when the realm is here? Which one of you idiots is dumb enough to try throwing a rock about this?
You're making us look bad.
Pretty much, exactly, yes.
I would not have gone to sleep that night. I just would have stayed at the bar just so that someone could be noticed that there's always one of the realm officials there. Just doesn't
Alright.
go to sleep.
Something I have
roll
always
me-
considered the case is that repose is a sleep opportunist per receiving the wisdom of the cat.
Yes. Just roll me stamina resistance to stay up and active and awake. Angler. Yeah, your earth cast and also cat. I'm not making
Repose sleeps when it's convenient and thus can remain awake when it's important.
And then after you have rolled that, I'll have a second roll for you, Angler.
Okay, I'm back.
Yes.
What?
77.
You're fine. You are fine. Your nerves are extremely on fire. In terms of
Fine.
I literally cannot fall asleep or else I might get shivved in the back kind of situation.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those nights.
And then roll me perception investigation for what you learn when you are staying up all night listening to everyone come in and out.
Okay, let me double check something here quick. I believe I
wait,
have the
me or-
investigation. Me, not you.
Okay.
In stuff.
Hold on, I'm just double checking if I have the investigation mastery. Which I think yes, I do. Okay, so I'm spending 4 motes for an auto success here. So that's 6 successes. I'll throw a willpower in for 7.
All right. You are immediately struck by a couple of things. One is no one, and I mean no one in town even dares to look in your direction as like a way of accusation. Even the assumption in your mind is even if anyone thinks the realm might be involved with this, no one is ever going to have the guts to say that or insinuate that. They're going to find a scapegoat rather than ever insinuate any of you had anything to do with this. The second thing that you figure out is that this seems to have set off a powder keg of people waiting for an excuse to begin with. There's a lot of people talking with a lot of large, well-armed men and women about, those things we've discussed recently or things like that. Just general people have been waiting for an excuse kind of feelings. The mass arson and explicit assassination of somebody, no one understands who did it and why, but that's probably important. That's probably somebody starting to move. So if we have any of our own plans, let's get moving on that so we don't get cut off.
Convenient that the slaver got murdered and we set the tone for the powder keg that was going to go off no matter what.
So yeah, that's basically the gist you get. You're not sure if you're feeling revolution or if you're feeling coup or if you're feeling just general cascade of blackmail and shenanigans that will paralyze this place. But something is about to go off.
There is an incident.
A capital I incident has just happened.
Yeah, either what will come out of these ashes will be something cool, or I'll have to burn it down again. We'll find out in a couple of years.
A capital I incident.
It's one of those, you've done a thing?
Wow, you've done
I
it.
have shaken the jar, and maybe it will be better.
God damn it, newbie.
You set me up.
I did.
So yeah, what's next, do you think?
So it would probably be you going back to the designated meeting point of the inn to see Angler still awake and everybody else either waking up or,
Yeah.
Passed out near the hearth at some point.
The Yang opens up the door, and it looks like he has been up several nights in a row. Haha, paperwork. Big night. Night.
Propose will ominously and inevitably swoop on up to that door in that weird
hey, buddy, what's
sliding way
up?
that he moves. Take a firm hold of one of Yang's shoulders.
What?
Start to gently usher him into the room.
Am I in trouble?
Bring him over to the vicinity of the table.
Oh, I'm in trouble. Fuck.
Sit down.
Do we have to do this
Okay,
now? I just got back,
He
and
sets down the staff, then places the other hand on Yang's other shoulder, pulls him in for a hug.
what?
It's not an especially, as you might expect from Repose, it's not terribly warm or soft. It is very dry, clinical, ritualistic, actually.
You smell like an urn.
That remark is being ignored as Repose slips into some steady and methodical incanting of the old tongue, which the rest of the party still doesn't understand, so no one gets to know right away, but eventually, phonetically, you probably pick up from context things you would recognize from earlier in your own lives. In particular, I suppose Angler would be the first one to hear familiar things, as Repose has spent a moment figuring out how to speed run through all of the rights that a child should have received over the course of their life. He is just carrying out every ritual observance that should have been taken over.
I haven't had my 12th birthday. You're right. No one did that for me.
No one
Yang
did
has
my
had no
quinceañera.
birthdays.
How long do you maintain the embrace with Yang as you're going through all the different things that you want to say to him?
Actually, it goes up to a certain point along the progress bar here of important things to have declared about a child. And Repose will slide back, set Yang back upright, and spend a moment looking firmly at him.
Right.
There is an in-character awkward pause as Repose kind of settles himself. Apologies for how abrupt this made it. And then just snap back in, lock in with resolve to get this over with. Do you think of yourself as a man?
What? And then Yang looks up to the ceiling for a very long time. No. No. I feel more like a gun. Or a crossbow.
I'm going to establish one thing. At this point, Milan has ushered everyone not in the hearth out of the room.
Oh, by the time they see a priest grabbing somebody and doing solemn rituals, the innkeeper just kind of was like, "Okay, we're leaving." Drell is doing.
I guess like a knife, maybe. Not a man. No.
Milan has taken a drunk, passed out man, put some money in his pocket, and put him out the door.
The question was meant somewhat more tangibly, but you have brought your mind to an appropriate subject for further along in the process. Let it suffice to say, out of habit I will continue to address you as brother until such time as you tell me that it is distasteful. Should such a need arise.
I have no feelings towards this. Yang has absolutely no idea how to feel about gender. He hasn't even thought about that. I mean, it's never been important, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Should you develop a strong sense of the subject in any direction, I am authorized to conduct reintroductions and burials of vacant names.
You can bury a name.
Yes.
Hell yeah, you can.
I love this.
You try hard enough.
Can you
There's
bury
procedure.
anyone's name without them knowing?
That would be rude.
You didn't answer this question. You're comfortable. Did you know that?
Whew. He's making me yawn.
Repose actually smiles a little at that remark. Not like the weird violent smile, just the slight. Yeah, that's nice. I'm being helpful. I'm appreciated. Yeah. Nice.
I don't like killing people, but I have to, because I'm a knife. Knives don't get to think.
Alright, Yang is brought back in, and the rest of the approximately 20 years of backlog of formality is carried out. Then sit Yang down. And I suppose everyone would have time to be in position for the intervention to begin.
Now
Milan
I feel
has
like
brought
I'm in trouble.
a glass and a bottle of wine. It's not opened. It just places them on the table.
As an aside, so, unless I need to speak up, Obsidian's probably gonna let
Mm-hmm.
Brother Repose handle a lot of this as something he feels way more strongly about.
I mean, wait, why are you all surrounding me? Oh, I am in trouble. God damn it, I knew it.
Do you know
Is it
what
because
you're
of
in
the?
trouble
Is it because of
for?
the killing or the?
No.
No.
Wait, what? Really?
No.
Like all that, and I gesture towards the window. That's not the.
Well,
No.
well,
Milan puts a hand
little
on
bit.
Obsidian's shoulder and says, no.
but no.
Is it that time when I shoved my face in the source pool and then drank?
Well,
No.
That was awesome.
Is it that time I introduced us to a solar when I didn't know they were a solar, and we sold dangerous materials to them, and then accidentally had them manipulate us.
Bit
There you go.
closer.
Yeah.
Closer.
Closer.
Is it because of Sybil?
Mm-hmm.
You're getting there.
Look, she was on the list. Okay, no, that's a chicken shit excuse. How does Yang feel about this?
How
does
does
Yang
Yang
feel
feel?
about this?
I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think. I just do what I'm told.
Mm-hmm.
There's never been a reason to do anything besides this in my life. Although I guess I did think when I took the initiative. No, I don't like slavers. Maybe that's something.
It is.
That is something.
That's a good step in the right direction.
Hey, Repose,
Repose is listening.
your boss is the sun, right?
There's another a round of looking around again to re-verify that we are, and then a bit of a scolding look back at Yang.
Like on the paper,
That is
the
not
sun is
that
your.
is not the thing you say loud in public. Kind of scolding look. Dang, you forgot that's the illegal part of what I do. Yang.
But like, so
I
like,
mean,
so like,
that's
Sybil's
back the
boss
whole
is
point.
also the sun, right?
I've already cleared out the nearby buildings. No one's listening.
So like, I don't understand why is this bad? If they're both, you both answered to the sun, right?
No.
I thought I was helping.
Yang, if we might step outside a moment, I think I can illustrate something.
I'll go
Briefly,
clear out the nearby
viscerally.
streets.
If you will,
Okay.
if you can anticipate and perhaps preemptively forgive the more direct manner of teaching that I prefer to employ, rather than
I
prolonged
okay.
acts of
I
wordcraft.
I see your aura flaring. I have transgressed.
His
accept-
aura is not flaring. Actually, he is very relaxed right now.
Okay,
Excuse me,
well-
sir. There's some Empire business going on. I'm gonna need you to.
It's still
step a
pretty
few
early in
streets
the day,
down.
so the sun is probably pretty low in the sky.
Before we step outside and
That
all
one
this
was
happens,
recent.
I'm going to be using the
I might not even need to go
observer
outside
awareness
if there
method,
are windows in the appropriate direction.
Yeah.
but I'm going to be using observer awareness.
because it's still like
You have one
dawn.
observer.
Really? I'd pause as they're about to go to the outside and say, hold on a moment, and I'm going to do Earth Awareness Sense to figure out where they are within a medium-sized area.
Nope.
No one?
Nothing you can feel touching the ground.
Wait. Do I notice? I'm probably too wrapped up in emotions to remember the.
No, I would say you probably would know the fact that you had to go to ground for 6 hours because you thought you were being tailed is relevant.
We are being watched. Just one person. One entity.
All right.
Yang headbutts the table as hard as he can. Fuck, I forgot. Right. Okay. So, and I explained everything, and I probably took a small sketch of what I thought I saw in the mirror.
Roll me intelligence occult.
Take out the old occult dice.
I listen to the currents of the wind.
Hello,
Any
6.
Dematerialized stuff. within
Hello,
medium-
bloody hand, god of murder.
Okay, so the reaction is just upon seeing your
Oh.
sketch and your description. No, that's fun. That's
What do you
normal.
mean? That's fine. I saw it was fucking spooky.
Yes. That is their job.
Oh, was that the Reaper?
More an
Congratulations.
evaluator?
You found,
All right, so
you
propose
found Death
actually
God.
take a moment to fill in here. So this is like a category of relatively small gods of murders. They find where interesting kills happen, or where interesting kills could happen, and
You
encourage
set up a
people
fucking
to kill in elaborate ways.
Yeah, that did totally just happen, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, you set up an Assassin's Creed death. What did you
Yeah.
think you were going to attract?
Because you are a proper small legend, you were able to see the Reaper kind of give you a thumbs up as you landed the kill shot.
Yes, that is literally exactly what happened.
Fucking you do a hit and the God of Death goes,
That was rad, dude.
That was sick!
Agent 47 showed up and gave you the nod of the hat.
Yeah, that part, fine. That's fine. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, that is. If you use any sort of spirit sight, it's literally just watching in the window curiously.
This
I
has
can-
likely
I can
followed you for
probably
longer than you'd
Hear
expect.
him.
Creepy. All right. Okay. All right. As long as we're not mate, that's all I care about.
To some
There-
extent, it is your ally. Do not follow any instructions it provides.
I just got done telling you I have to listen to everyone tells me.
There's a non-zero chance it's going to tell you to kill one of us.
Well, that's not happening. Unless you deserve it.
Do any of us deserve it?
Well, no.
Well,
I mean,
listen,
like, if you
listen
I
to
mean,
me
if you sign,
when I
like,
tell you that this is
Yeah.
fine.
all right, fine. Now go ahead and kick my
You will
ass.
endure. You will survive. All right, so with the getting outside, the thing to do is to just point yang towards the sun,
Okay.
get a firm grip on his face, pop his eyes open, and make him look directly at the sun for a little while.
Ow!
All right, the moment he properly reacts in pain, repose will let him go. What you have just felt is the barest instant of less than half of his full radiance. At the distance from the earth to the sky, when it has been spread equally across the entire surface of creation, and he likes you.
So?
Would you trust any portion of such absolute radiant violence
No.
in human hands?
No. Oh!
Yeah, I do want you to roll me willpower, because this would jostle a memory.
Would it?
Yes.
What is my willpower, actually? I haven't logged into my
Yeah, part of
Logcasting
what,
account.
if you were to drag out.
My willpower is 10.
Yes, nice. Yeah, if you were to drag out the longer version of discussions on this topic, part of why the sun doesn't intervene in the world is that if he actually stepped into the world to do something, his sheer magnitude of presence would be as big a disaster as whatever had to get his attention.
Isn't that why Sybil doesn't do it then?
No.
That is exactly what this role is for. Is, hey, when you had that conversation that you haven't talked to any of them about, she explicitly talks about how she doesn't get involved for that exact reason. She doesn't want to overpower what she's dealing with. She inspires other people to do shit. You were one of her projects.
So, how do I resolve liking the person but not supposed to like the thing they are?
Well,
Begin with,
sometime
under no circumstances should you refer to her as master.
Well, I never.
You
done
are
that.
not her subject.
Has Yang never referred to
I
her
might
as
have done it
master?
like in jest once, but no, she is not my master.
He did say that exactly once in introducing the immediately after the war bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I mean,
because
like-
she taught you goose style, you referred to her as
Yeah,
master.
like I mean, she's legitimizing my knowledge of goose style into a form where like I can use it without getting my ass kicked. I don't like do her bidding.
That's
Yeah,
good.
We could
Good
have
start
done
in the
that
right
for
direction.
you.
But you aren't the master of
You-
goose style.
You came to each of us in turn to seek
Yeah?
a consultation on
Uh-huh.
the subject of fighting arts.
Yes.
When most of us presented you with an obstacle, you became startled, disengaged, and ran off and sought another instructor.
Well, yes, you are my brothers.
repeatedly.
Well, no, I mean, I guess it looks like that, but like, you have to
Well, it's like
understand,
that.
I've literally never punched someone. The only people I trust to actually fulfill the gaps in my knowledge without lying to me are my brothers. And then I go back to the person who taught me how to do the special thing. Once I have more knowledge, so I understand what the hell they're even trying to teach me. There's a solar. I don't like. It's like the best chef in the world trying to teach some asshole when they don't even know how to like cook a piece of meat. You know?
The outdoors portion of the lecture has concluded. We can go back inside as well. That can just
I
be
figured that
packaged,
after the sunlight part, you went back in.
Just after the sun looking at.
Can I be friends with Sybil at least? Please? Please?
Do you understand why we're bringing this up?
Yeah, because she should be solving problems, but she can't because she's probably like, by going past the limiters, she would probably make a crater the size of the country and effectively she would solve the problem, but she wouldn't solve the problem, you know what I mean?
Gang,
Like Sybil's an explosive. We need a chisel.
gang, if you admire this woman,
Well, I want to kick her ass.
Would that just completely
just complete deadpan. That is a form that admiration can take.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to hurt her. How is that admiration?
You can have respect for an opponent.
What?
Why do you
So-
think I fought her? I knew
You
what
tried-
she was.
So you like Sybil? Why aren't you in trouble?
I do not like her. She used us, and I don't appreciate
She used
that.
me too. That's why I'm gonna kick her ass.
Yeah, but I respect her for her power.
She
for her
challenged
strength.
me to assassinate her, so I tried to do that, and then she did the solar thing so hard where I invented the. Have I ever told you guys about the fourth assassination attempt?
As soon
Actually,
as you say solar, I'm like staring you down like, are you a dumbass right now?
You were all inside, remember?
That doesn't matter.
There,
We
there are
just
still
have...
condescending head pats of very OPSEC.
okay. How about this? How about this? How about this? Okay, so
There are
she
euphemisms for
revealed
these
that
things for
when
reasons.
she revealed that she was a raccoon,
Thank you.
like I was already in for a penny, in for a pound at that point, right? Like I was actually mid dive. You know how you got your ass kicked? I was
Yes.
in mid that when I realized, oh, that's what they're raccoon.
But the question is, why did you not tell the rest of us immediately afterwards that she was a raccoon?
Because she didn't want you guys, to know.
Why?
Because she wanted to have fun.
There you go.
So then the next question is, why would you not trust your brothers with that knowledge and instead trust a stranger?
Did you guys need to know?
If we're dealing with a raccoon, it might be good to know.
Well, hold on.
Raccoons
Oh,
are
right.
very dangerous.
Well, okay, let's flip this around. If I didn't get any... You saw what I just did, right?
Yes.
And you feel like you don't trust me enough to tell you if I honestly have enough red flags tripped to be like, hey, there's a problem, we need to go kick their ass of. I didn't... My moral compass said, let this one go. And yeah, I maybe just didn't bring it up, but it was to avoid this. I didn't, expect any of this.
Yang, I would not be upset with you if you told us the truth. Whether you were worried about our reactions or not, or whether you did something that is reprehensible or not, so long as you trusted us to listen to you. I don't really know what your upbringing was. I've heard bits and pieces, but we do care for you. More so than I think you've been cared for before. We trust you, but we need you to trust us.
I mean, I could have told you who she was, but then that would be being an ass to someone who doesn't feel like, I'm playing along with her because I feel like the person deserves a bare amount of respect of that regard, more than like my brother has come after this person. Just like, yes, that is something that should be rewarded, and this is the reward they're asking for not being a narcissist. This is just an old lady and her old grandpa ass husband.
For now.
You saw how fucking out of it he was when he got teleported in.
No, he worries me more than she does.
Really?
Do you know that
I've been doing spell research. That spell would have done that to any of us.
And also, I would just say outright, do you know that usually raccoons and possums work in pairs?
Oh!
Yang,
Yang legitimately did not think about the fact that Sun Guanyang might have been a lunar until just now. He didn't even care.
Yang, do you believe that man was always so domesticated?
No.
And
I just figured
how precisely would such a change situation come about over the
they
course
go
of
on
time?
they go on a date and talk.
More of a honeymoon.
Maybe they court each other.
And what manner of courtship can occur between a lion and a rat?
Going out for a walk.
I have strayed too far from being frank. Yang, if one of us were to if one of us were to go out into the streets of this city and find some young mortal in the prime of their life and take an interest in them and begin to inflict our affections upon them.
I mean, do they consent?
Yang, in such a situation, is consent possible? If a mortal found the advances of a dragon to be distasteful and unwelcome, what recourse do they have if the dragon disagrees? They have none.
You might be right.
Now, this is a matter of, if the dragon would have accepted the answer, that's besides the point. This is sort of an
It is a
example
situation
of
where fundamentally only one involved party has a choice.
Is as if a king would talk to a peasant and the peasant say no.
Yeah, it is benevolent manipulation, I suppose. I mean, I never got a choice either. Just maybe that's why I feel so normal.
Maybe you should have.
You have a choice with us. You are among your peers, Yang. We are brothers. We are equals.
This sucks.
Yes.
That's family.
Nothing saying family can't be 5 brothers and a grandpa.
I think old man's more of a grunkle.
Great.
Strange.
What do we do
mountain
now?
uncle.
Well,
Well, in the
There's a
immediate sense, there is that cavern we were thinking of investigating.
No, I mean, do we kill Sybil?
We
Could
can't
we?
kill Sybil.
In our current state, unlikely.
Yeah,
I mean, my entire plan was to get us stronger so we could kick her ass.
that might happen down the road, but
If it becomes necessary to destroy her, it will not be done by indulging in her peculiarities, and
Also,
it is not something we should partake alone.
one other note about Sybil. Her statement to you of if she had intervened in half these problems, it would have caused more than the problems we're causing. Consider that she effortlessly stopped both myself and Spanner launching an attack at her, and nothing happened. And we took care of most of these problems. Unless she went entirely buck wild, she could have handled those problems.
now, in the immediate of what we should do, there's a tradition on the Isle, and I bring forward the wine
Hey, wait a
and
minute.
glass.
I just had a thought. Did Sybil get a choice? Or did the sun just do that?
Such are the mysteries.
How long is this
Propose is
cycle of
actually
violence?
first to grab a drink on the subject of why the fuck is the boss appointing more heroes who saw that happen last time.
Because she
Rip the
she
bottle open with your hands.
I was trying to do a. Could you at least pour him a glass? You're basically his dad.
The ceremony just
like
The ceremony immediately interrupted by crushing.
I wasn't trying to induct him into
Repose.
adulthood.
how do you tell if a solar has depression? I'm pretty sure Sybil has some form of depression.
Drinks are being shakily, angrily poured from damaged amphora.
And there's the look going around of, I think we all have depression. Except old man.
I fear you have wandered from the center of my field of expertise, my brother.
Fair enough. It just seems like the sun is the problem.
All right, now you get your face slammed into the table.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna call for a roll to not violence him, but if you're just gonna go right ahead, get your willpower back. If you spent it.
But I'm not wrong, am I?
Slam.
Have a drink,
It
brother.
makes sense. Ow. Fuck, it hurts.
The conversation went fucking places I did not expect. I love it.
I was not expecting. Does the sun make mistakes?
Wham!
I don't think the sun is actually a good authority to back.
Wait a minute, the argument against Solars also applies to the supreme deity. Can you trust that his trials actually rendered him into the perfect invincible man?
Shut the fuck up, that's what.
There's heresy right there.
Fuck. All I'm saying is this all seems incredibly complicated, and it just seems like a string of
Yang,
travesties.
you have a choice. Please take the choice of ending the conversation.
Fine, I'll take my foot out of my mouth.
Thank you.
I feel like if the question elicits that sort of response, though, you should think about it more. About who you follow.
Do
and
you
why
need
you
a
follow them.
band-aid? Do you need medical wrap? You're bleeding a little.
No, that's fine.
Your nose is broken.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Well, we have the moment to ourselves.
Wine happens. It will take a lot of woodworking to restore moderation.
Yang asks a dumb question that is not easy to answer.
Take a deep breath.
Yang asks
Okay,
a heresy.
So what happened out there? I'm all ears.
Huh? Oh, that's you mean with the
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Obsidian goes, yo, so how'd it go?
yeah. So I give him all the juicy details, and I tell him specifically about how that slave owner kind of squealed like a little girl when he got poisoned. Well, squealed like a pig. How about that?
Oh,
Like
you.
a worm
was-
crawling
it was
through
more-
dust.
His internal organs all failed one by one, and it was one of the most horrible possible ways to die. Screams.
Yeah, shrieking. I'm trying to figure out a way to make it sound as unflattering as possible, but fucking heteronormativity brain is on there.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I got what you were going for. And-
Shrieking like a dog that has been trapped in a bear trap.
Shrieking
the
like a dog
last
who has
year.
constipation.
There are intense arguments going on about which animal cry that scream most sounded
Yeah,
like.
which is the most pathetic way to? Yeah, we have an argument about no, that's not.
I'll be
Thoughts?
real. That conversation went way better than I thought it was going to.
Mhm.
Ding is honestly just stupid enough to ask these questions and not know better. For someone who is as smart as he should know better.
Like you were raised in a
I was
cave by
raised in
idiots.
a cave by assholes.
No, it owns. It owns that, like,
No, this is perfect.
yeah,
Yep.
Yang is exactly the person to just be like, wait, what? Maybe it's the
Why,
sun.
why hasn't anyone questioned this? Punch!
Why do the Solars who are assholes keep showing up? Maybe it's the sun that's wrong.
The sun keeps making them,
No.
right? So maybe the sun is.
No, it's only the Solars.
The Spawn spent thousands of years mostly not making them because you have us to hold the line, boss. There's no amount of that grumbling that is occurring out loud at this juncture, but
Mm-hmm.
There is something like loud thoughts. Those definitely exist.
very
Yes.
loud. Repose doesn't have much guile, so while he maintains a lot of facade, it is often to those in who know the ways very
It would-
measurable.
Those who, honestly, if you want to roll reading intentions on repose right now, there's no rule against that.
I could.
Yeah.
That's just charisma and socialize, right?
Perception socialize.
All right, that's still 6. Oh, that's not right.
Oh no!
Cool, 10d67, huh? Nice. 10d10. Sorry, 60-10 is what you're trying to do.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Fuck. I was like, this
It
feels
was a
right.
good roll, though. It was a pretty good roll.
It was a great
No, it
roll.
wasn't.
It was pretty solid roll.
I mean, if you're trying
That's all
to get over
revel in
7,
how good that
it's
roll
pretty
is.
bad.
All right, roll these d6. Have as many as you get over 7. All right, so this is also easy to do because I would say that this is in line with defining intimacy-related stuff on Repose's part. So the anger, disappointment, and the commingling of anger, disappointment, and love when someone you normally look up to with respect and devotion is clearly doing something wrong, and you don't know when is the right time to step in and try to correct them. You want your parent, boss, God, grandma to be doing better, and you're watching them make a mistake, and just nah. The anger is not at Yang, it is at the boss man for seeming to be in the process of making a mistake when that's the thing he's never
I have no
supposed to
rebuke
do.
to this, and I'm mad at it.
Categorically impossible, but sure seems to be happening.
Ooh, Milan knows
This somehow has to become my responsibility to go fix it, but it's beyond my reach anyway. You have made the person who you're used to seeing be very confident and fearless and resolute about things feel powerless and frustrated.
Yeah. I would say
Boys.
Milan doesn't even have to roll to recognize that emotion.
That's a familiar feeling. Yep.
Immediate, just like, hugest mood.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Feeling would also be familiar to
To
Obsidian, but for different reasons.
Everyone in the room just share a moment.
Not the exact same thing, but what if you said something and...
What if you called the boss out and that didn't go well?
What if you're just watching someone you care about deliberately do
The
all
moment
the
of
wrong
doubt
things?
of also like a layer of the moment of doubt of, all right, what if what I have believed the plan to be and what the plan is are in fact not the same thing, and I am being
20. I haven't seen
shown
any of the good part of the
that
sun.
kind of crisis.
All I've gotten is sunburn. Where is this?
all I've seen is the sun being negligent and a shit. Why do you guys like him?
You do-
Slam.
Bam.
Milan ineffectively tries to reach to stop another slam from coming.
I think at this point, Obsidian would just grab.
Someone establish a
Frozen.
barrier between
Yeah.
this.
Someone puts Milan's pillow on the table in front of Yank's face.
Just like he's not going to stop, and you know that. Just let him ramble.
This conversation is not able to happen productively at this moment.
Yep. This is basically the end of the conversation and the beginning of day drinking at 6 a.m. So, mine is slammed, grudges are nursed, deep personal insecurities are twitched over, relationships rethought or thought about at all. And the day
Does
just
anyone
kind of
just want
goes.
to break a riot on the way out? Are any street fights happening while we're still inside the walls?
Everyone
I
is
was
too.
going to say, there's an incident going on. What if we just stayed indoors?
Everyone at the current moment seems a little too afraid of, like, okay, somebody fired the first shot. Who wants to be the one to throw the second punch? Because right now, this could be like, okay, if we all just sit down and pretend that didn't happen, this doesn't have to happen.
Maybe
But as
the
soon as
specter of
somebody else,
revolution will pass over us.
as soon as somebody else takes advantage of this, then it's a free for all. And none of us know who the prime actor is, but we're all gonna know who the second person is. And I don't want to be them.
I would, just while we have this empty room, nobody in here at all, bring up the note of, so Yang did good in killing the shittiest man in town.
Oh yeah,
It was fun.
absolutely.
There is the power struggle that's going to happen. Do we want to try and
Yeah,
deal
that's
with
why I
this at
killed
all?
the shittiest man in town.
Yeah, but now everybody else thinks they have a chance to
But,
do a
but
shitty.
the shittiest man in town won't be the powerful one.
Correct.
That's a good point. And,
But I'm
I
worried about like a riot or something breaking out.
it would
I mean, I
probably
can
be
just kind
best
of go
if
Yake Man on the roofs. Just make sure.
I stayed indoors, because if I do anything, it's going to look like the Empire's making a move.
This, and if I've been seen enough with Milan that if I do anything, maybe this is a job for a mysterious third party.
Yeah, this is why I was not seen coming into the town with you guys.
Perhaps the people would be more inclined to trust us if one of us was able to put down this powder keg. Someone like perhaps the Minister of Transportation.
Do you want to put a lid on the powder cake I just
You
spent all
could.
fucking night?
You
It's a pretty
Lighting
easy
could
way to
on.
do it.
roll bureaucracy to see if that is the worst idea.
Hey,
I'm
I'm
not
just gonna
saying-
throw this out here. You want an easy solution to this question?
Uh-huh.
You know someone who can create nearly perfect illusions.
Yeah, but his old man
How
could
would an
create.
illusion help us?
That is
you-
a suggestion that involves convincing old man to cast a spell.
Yes.
That one's. Hey, I'm gonna throw this out here. That's one he learned recently. It's probably pretty likely he'll actually be fine with doing it.
I'll be
You
right
doubt
back.
established that at all. You cast your only new spell once.
I've got a house I need to go climb. Be right back.
You've got to. Do you want me to help you up? I've got the grappling. I was
Uh,
already leaving. All right.
I've got the grappling.
Milan comes back in a minute later. Yang, could I get some help with something? And it obviously
sure.
looked like Milan fell to the ground.
Rolling willpower, seeing an acceptable number of things falling off of the willpower. All right, there's kind of an audible pop of bones sliding back into their usual places. And abruptly, Repose is fine.
Yep.
Repose is restabilized, still a little alcoholized, but you've already met slightly drunk Repose. You've met relaxed Repose. Vest is getting flipped back to Leopard side for the day.
Okay, so how does this grappling hook thing work?
Away!
Ah! Yoink!
And up you're on the building.
Did you go to the right building?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Old man's been hanging out on top of the inn the whole time.
I just went to the tallest building.
He's actually. This is a rare thing. You see him just kind of like laying on the roof tiles, with his eyes closed. Actually, hands behind his head, in like what actually looks like him relaxing.
Are you on the floor?
No, it's a roof.
That's not the ground. I'm going to go
What?
lay down next to Old Man.
What is a roof but the top of the building's floor?
Do you know how to
I'm
meditate,
off.
young Milan?
I'm just gonna quietly sink away into the darkness so I do not
I do.
associate with Milan.
Now,
All
do you
right.
know how to meditate for your own benefit or for the benefit of who you should be?
I know how to meditate for others and for myself, but that is it.
That's close enough, I suppose. So what do you need? Because I can tell when you need something.
The city has become a powder keg. You saw what Yang did, right?
Ah, more or less.
Well, there are folks in town, people in power, people who want to be in power. They're going to take this opportunity to chop down a few trees, throw a few stones, massacre a few people.
So would you like to create a culprit?
Yeah. We're gonna need a scapegoat, and I don't want to force that on any innocent or my brother.
Ha. That's not a problem, really. To calm things down, there's two ways I could do that. The illusions would work, probably. They're quite effective.
Do they leave a body?
Oh no, but that's easy to manufacture a situation in which they wouldn't.
Good. What is the second option?
Gestures just wildly at the fire going on went on. Someone could help with that.
Oh.
I thought the fire was out of control. It was
It was
controlled at this
it-
point.
It is. They're all ashes. There is no fire anymore.
Yeah, I burned everything down.
I'm saying something like could have caused that, and that could be a target.
Yep.
And if it is an elemental or something, then like, I mean, what are they gonna do about it once it poofs away?
Is old man going to summon an elemental though?
Oh my god, are you gonna make my fucking gambit even further solidified into?
What he would likely do is actually summon an illusion of an elemental rather than the actual thing. But yeah.
Oh, can Yakuman
Yeah.
slay it?
Oh
You know, it would be a shame if some force of nature caused the situation. Likely, we might be even have to be called in to resolve this.
that sounds like a pretty easy solution to a complicated problem. Gotcha. Poof. Old man's illusion fades away. Old man, who is actually on the other side of the roof, doing like just slightly out of sight, walks up, having been in a much more reasonable position and not relaxing. Instead, clangs over. All right, so I was still listening and giving orders the entire time. I'm just showing how effective they are. I love this spell. I've been using it a lot lately.
Milan's
It's
giving the
harmless
look,
and not. It's harmless and it doesn't cause any issues.
Milan's giving the look of absolute dumbfounded of what?
It was
Milan
a
got
prank.
pranked.
It was a prank, son.
You didn't wake up early enough. A couple decades, huh?
I'll teach this one to you if you want to learn. It's actually quite easy. This one was easy to suss
You
out.
say that about everything.
No, he doesn't.
Interesting.
He thinks everything's hard.
You said the copper body skin was easy.
I think I'll
Oh,
take you up
that's a
on that
lie.
offer.
That was
That was
a
a
lie
lie.
for his student.
Yes, that was trying to make Oak feel a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, copper skin is very difficult. just actually mechanically, even just from casting it by itself, it is one of the most difficult spells to cast of all of the first level spells because it costs 20 sorcerer's modes to activate.
Mm-hmm.
They really don't want you doing it in combat.
Yes.
All right, if we're gonna make a
can,
bit of an
but I don't-
adventure out of Aftermath of Night of Fire, I think I have found a mood for Repose to have bounced back into.
All right.
Relaxed Repose, who has, per his discipline and training, forced himself back over onto a positive track to think about. Well then, my brothers, we are in the vicinity of humans who have been made to suffer beyond the usual burdens of their lives. Is it not of our purview to then go forth and do good works?
I do believe that is the case.
Can
I say
take a
from the
nap?
roof.
I did just. I was out all night. You guys got this, right?
We got this.
Alright, good night.
Yang,
What?
I stayed up all night too, and I'm going to go out. The least you could do.
And
after
you're not a
all the
fussy
fun
bitch, but I am.
And all the fun things that we just had a conversation about. Maybe this is time for us to do some family bonding.
Fine. Put on my pajamas.
There is a bit of a twitch of tensing as the Repose passes by Yang, but it passes, and a bit of a nod. You are at least honest in your vices, and move on past him.
I'm going to hop down from the building with no effort. Just, yep. Boom.
Old man, kind of with his feet against the earth on the ground, is kind of just like sketching something out. And he gestures to the rest of them. One of the very few things that he will never admit to. Old man can't draw for shit. And he kind of gestures to the extremely crude looking. It's sort of like a gorilla with a head that's just fire. There's no actual head there. And basic, like, kind of weak garbage back legs, but yeah. And the thing is, like, you get that out of the picture, it does look like complete garbage.
What an interesting dog.
Nod, thumbs up. Close enough.
Yep.
It's
Well,
not a dog.
Brother Repose, I do believe we have our culprit for
Not a single part of that looks like a dog. What are you talking about?
who set the fire.
A dog has a head.
Are we gonna go do a bunch
Milan.
of weird bullshit or not?
A dog has a head, Milan. Not a single part of this is formed like a dog is.
I'm gonna need a moment. Oh my god.
Alright, so for
It's not a dog.
Repose's
look like
part
a
of
dog,
this,
right?
he is snapped into, obviously, going to architectural solutions for problems. Architectural problems that need to be solved with architectural solutions. He's going to go to, like, the kind of probably charred skeletal remains that are laying around of the buildings that were most damaged. Where there are probably, still people going about inspecting and gawking and
Recovering things.
trying to clean up whatever they can of what survived being burned. Scoffing and guffawing. So Repose will strut on up to one of the larger of the surviving, but still, well, there, but clearly now unusable charred beams of wood is upright. Kind of look around, gesture to suss out like the shape that this building was in before it fell down. Just lower his head in disgust and kick the beam over into the rest of the rubble.
Slow teetering fall crunch.
Useless.
Everyone is kind of looking at each other, feeling like they should be personally ashamed, even though they had nothing to do with building this building.
Why didn't you fix this?
Is any left alive who would take credence for creating this abomination.
They all kind of look at each other and shrug.
All right, so I
It
don't have a
looks like
whole
they
lot
were
of speech
mostly,
prepared, but
like, the people who worked there rather than the architect.
well, yeah, Repose is going to spend a while ranting about how this building was clearly doomed to fail. And like, while looking over its remains, look over at how other buildings are probably similarly built and just being like, yes, you are screaming out to be burned down, all of you. What is wrong with you? Speaking directly at the buildings more than the people, look at what happened to your brother.
Roll me manipulation presence with a 2-dice stun.
By the way, part of the reason why I really wanted to do
You
this.
know what? I will. Let me just be sure that I've formalized buying glowing coal radiance.
Part of the reason why I really wanted to do this is because we're many sessions into this game so far.
Mhm.
Darren, how many times have you asked me to roll anything involving manipulation?
Very little, because you don't do anything that requires it.
Exactly, but yeah, I know it's my own fault. But it's like I'm taking initiative for once, so I can do it.
Yeah.
7.
Old man has 5 manipulation. It's the highest in the group, I'm pretty sure.
What the fuck? Yeah, that's higher than mine.
Old man is the best in the group at lying. He just doesn't come up.
His guile is 5.
All right, 7. Repose, you are making such a scene that, like, you are attracting a crowd, not just to see you're ranting about how bad all of this building code is. You're genuinely seeing people in the crowd who are like, man, actually, I kind of want to learn from this person, or like, just fascinated by the sheer technical expertise on display.
Repose is dragging out all the energy for, like, you know, having a horrible, unforgivable criminal dragged out in stocks awaiting a public stoning, but he is talking about the stonework that went into these trash heaps.
Like, you can actually feel the energy of tension of, like, somebody gonna start shit. If just, like, maybe this is really just down to terrible building code, huh? Maybe this isn't, like, suspicious.
At some point, he gets around to, like, sketching out diagrams in the ash about how things could have been arranged to make it impossible for fire to so quickly spread from one corner to the other and beyond to the next building over.
This seems impossible, but you're probably doing it somehow.
The ash somehow, inexplicably, looks ashamed of itself.
Somewhere in the midst of it, when it's convenient, he will be down low and whisper to the ash, just give it a reassuring pet. It's not your fault. It's okay. You tried. What's important is that you learn.
It's burned
In the meantime,
I do believe we have a plan going on.
yeah. Is there other contributions to the plan aside from old names? Like,
Actually, I have something I'd like
It
to do.
doesn't look like a dog, right? It's not supposed to.
I'm very sleepily like helping just clean up reconstruction efforts. Just like, yeah, let's move some rubble out of the way. Woo! Pitch it in.
Oh no, my console banded out.
You swear that there wasn't a snout there when you looked the first time, but now the
There's
fire
not a
kind of looks like
head.
a snout.
That's not a head.
One of the flames just kind of looks a little snout-like now.
That's not a. There's no head. All right. Well, when I create it, it will look exactly how I picture it in my head.
All right.
Milan has a plan, but it's post-elemental plan.
yeah.
It is like Milan's going to be giving a gift from the Empire to
the city.
the Fallen River Valley as a thank you, a show of goodwill for how well they treated me.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I'm going to be drawing up documents, like rebuilding plans, but it's going to be like conveniently to further depower some of the shitheads.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that the buildings that get rebuilt are like public housing.
Yeah, infrastructure that actually matters to
Yeah.
anyone and not just rich people.
Okay, so Angler, you had an idea?
Yes. At some point while the crew is discussing things, they would look over and see that Angler has left. And his where his drink was is just his robe folded neatly up with all of his house sigils and such. And he is going to go to the slums of the area, and he is going to go just start looking around, talking with people, and seeing if anyone's going to start some shit, who's the first person who's going to do it? Like, who's the best chance that someone's going to do something really stupid?
All right, roll me perception larceny with your
That
slums
is
specialty.
a good ass idea.
Who is spinning the largest knife?
Yeah, who has the gears in their head, but they're not good gears.
Mm-hmm.
Perception
crime
larceny or is perception investigation?
What would be actually big? Because I know you had the larceny slums.
Well, yes. It's either way. It's just more of a curiosity on that one. Either way,
Larceny, honestly, because you're caging up crime rather than.
yeah. Caging. Okay. Hold on. Let me make sure I don't have the mastery for larceny before I do this.
Mhm.
It has been a while since I've had to use my larceny skills. Had to pause and think about what I just said. Never mind. Continuing on. I'm not a crook.
You should use them more often, to be honest.
5 successes.
All right. So you're looking around, and let me just switch off this. Now the scheme is not as openly part of the thing. You're looking around generally for the people who are probably the hired knives, or the people who are most likely to go off. And you're generally able to sort it between 3 categories. The first is the people who were looking for any excuse whatsoever because, goddamn it, we're under the boot, and we're looking for an excuse to be heard. They're not looking to start anything because they realize if they, generally speaking, go first, they just paint a target on their heads for the entire parliament to stop backstabbing each other and then kick down again. There's a couple of people who are like probably thinking a little hot-headed, but you don't worry too much about them starting something yet because of the general atmosphere of, I don't know what's going on here. The second group is pretty obviously plants. The sort of people who are trying to stir up, like, anti-government or like, to do something stupid because I'm not saying I'm paid to do it, but hey, I'm really super pumped about going out and doing the violence. Those are the problems that you're probably going to want to deal with most. The third group are the actual paid people there to, if and when things go off, advance specific interests, and they're the ones watching with eyes about as keen as yours, and they can pretty clearly tell that you're casing the place, and visibly just kind of go, no. We're not doing the first one.
Yeah, as soon as he sees a couple of them do the noticing them thing, he's just going to stare for a couple moments, very quietly, and slightly shake his head, and then lock eyes with each one as they go along, and then go back to the first, and then make the eye motion towards the door or whatever like location that he's in. As in, it's time for you to go.
They leave. They know what's coming.
And as soon as the smart ones are gone, he's going to start noticing the ones that, the plants that had, started to rabble some stuff. If any of them are in some quiet corners, they're going to disappear into those quiet corners, and they're not going to come back out.
All right.
And they're not going to be dead. They're just going to be very unconscious.
Yeah, it's more that I'm not going to make a follow-up roll for that. It's like, you're like, oh, tell me more. Let's walk and talk. I have some people who might be interested. Punch! And just left in a...
Why, yes, I would love to discuss crime right over here.
Yeah. And then he will quickly frisk any of them for any kind of information they might have from certain nobles or what have you.
Most you find is a bunch of silver in their pockets. They were very clearly just handed a sack of money and told to start shit. It's clear that most of the political operators here are not quite dumb enough to leave their fingerprints on their plants.
Fair enough. And then the last thing he'll do is he noticed the group that left. He is going to follow in their footsteps and see where they go.
That is
this
gonna
is
be.
actually well, this is actually something we chat about a little bit about his boots. I want to see if I can do that.
Oh, okay. Okay, yes, actually. Yes, you can. So, as you tail them, roll me a perception investigation roll, and then a dexterity stealth roll, back to back.
Okay. I will be using motes on the investigation because night has happened.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 6 successes on the investigation. And what was the second one you said?
Dexterity stealth.
Stealth. My one weakness.
You say that.
I will use a willpower to make them both 6s because
Yeah.
sure.
So, as you follow them, you get the strangest kind of sensation in your boots as you're following. They are iron boots, and you are used to the weight at this point, because, you walk around in them all day, every day. But they feel lighter than usual. Like, not even so much as wearing more, like, normal boots, as so much as, like, they are almost carrying you forward as you are tracking these people. And as you're tracking them, as you're walking, stuff starts to bubble up in your head that you're not entirely sure is coming from your own subconscious. It's more like suggestions right at the edge of your perception of awareness. Of, like, like, pause here for a moment. Like, just kind of subconscious orders to your own body of just like, pause for a half moment, duck around that corner, come back out, take another steps, double time for a couple seconds. As they're giving you instructions on how to best not only follow them without being busted, but also starting to get into their mindset of you're tracking them. Where are they going? And somehow, as you are mimicking their movements, you feel like you know. You know the building you're going to without seeing it. And you know who's there. You can't place a name, but you can place a face. It's the guy who was debating with Veniscu.
Just a slow nod as that happens, and as the face becomes more and more clear, he'll stop at a local stall, perhaps to buy a bite to eat, or if there's a trinket or what have you, smile and pay a little bit more than he needs to, and then head back towards the group.
All right. So, anybody else had plans on stuff to do before the event?
It
Or
doesn't
did
even
anybody
have
want
a
to update?
tail. It doesn't have a tail.
It has tiny spindly legs that are, one of them's kind of going off to the side a little bit. Maybe it could be seen as a tail.
It's only the back legs that are tiny. It's got enormous forearms.
As if Angler heard Old Man saying it hasn't got a tail, he realized he might be being tailed and do something to check on that. So, is he being followed?
No.
Okay.
Don't roll. You're not being tailed.
Okay, thank you.
You've got a charm that checks for that easy.
I am spending that mode. That's why I'm pretty much asking.
You can spend that mode and know you're not being tailed.
Yes.
Look, all I'm saying is that its torso is a little dog-shaped.
That's not a thing. That's not a thing anything can be.
Can't believe this.
I can.
I can.
I can't believe I was beaten to bringing up the word a dog shaved in this campaign.
Well, summon it. Let's see what it looks like.
I would have done it ages ago if you hadn't brought it up. And gonna go ahead and I mean, it's just time for getting the motes, so
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go directly to the. I'm gonna go directly to the occult plus manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go ahead and spend my free success of the day to get 6 on that.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that to actually break that, like, it's perception plus awareness versus 6 to tell that it's not a real thing.
Mm-hmm. Which means the average person ain't gonna ever do that.
Yeah. Plus, they got a +3 to do so if they could touch it, but I mean, it's going to have a flaming not head.
Why would you touch it?
Exactly.
Death wish.
Right. So when he summons it up, it does actually look a lot better. It actually looks like it's got the gorilla form. For some reason, it does
roll for
actually
dog
have, like,
shape.
it's not dog. There's no.
It,
such
it,
thing.
it comes out as old man's imaginings are.
Aw.
It
Although
is-
weirdly enough, it does actually have a tiny little stub of a tail that he did put in there subconsciously because the suggestion was put there.
It's wagging.
And
the stump
uh,
is in fact wagging.
yeah,
Milan's-
no, you
Milan-
can't say
So you
that,
said
Dan.
yeah, it's canon.
No, you can't. That's taking my words out of my mouth.
I would like to introduce a thought into the whole idea. Can I introduce a thought that the tail's wagging?
No,
Yes,
no, you
Yes.
can't.
Yes.
Do not do this.
I'm the storyteller. I said roll for it.
I'm the player. I'm gonna roll against this.
Go ahead.
Roll
Roll
off.
to see if your
Roll off.
subconscious stops it.
Roll off.
What am I rolling?
This would be
Willpower be
intelligence
willpower.
or to introduce a fact versus willpower.
This is the part of
Okay.
table games that I adore. Is that when
This is
spite
the
rolling?
best PvP.
Yeah.
Just completely harmless PvP over a stupid fact.
So,
Yep.
This is willpower, you said?
No, you are intelligence lore. Old
Oh,
man.
great. Lord,
Old man is rolling against dog shape.
I
Old
used the
man is
willpower
trying
to
to
push it to
resist
4.
the
I used the willpower to push it to 4.
Fuck no! I hate you and your guts.
The tail
That ape is
It's
wagging.
wagging and you cannot stop it.
That ape is twitching.
So
I
seeing
hate
this,
you and your guts.
seeing this tail wagging, Milan's gonna let out a. Yeah, it's gorilla shaped.
It's not a thing either. Whatever. All right.
Where did this apparition spawn?
What's this that I have?
Probably like either in or behind the inn, somewhere it's not immediately seen.
Yeah. It folds forward and like it just kind of like extends the fire in its head out. It's not real fire, so it doesn't set anything on or anything. But it the fire kind of like goes out in a cone as if it was breathing it if it had a head, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of extends from the fireball on its head. Anyway, there you go. That's the mechanism. It's gonna fight you, is the idea.
Is it gonna fight Milan or is it gonna fight
It's
Yaku?
gonna fight someone.
Okay.
I don't care who it fights. It's just going to do stuff.
Do we want to make Milan a superhero, or do we want to have the superhero?
Let's have the
Wait.
superhero.
Yeah, it might be a little too convenient if you get too much stuff from this.
Milan's got.
Yakuman did swear to the heavens to find who did this.
Yakuman very
Yep.
publicly pledged to avenge the knight's events.
Yeah, I mean, so I already pre-established them like very sleepily
Is that a
shuffling
tail?
logs around.
What?
Sifu, is there a way for us to store this till we get this to a very public place?
I mean, you can hide it.
Good,
Like
good,
physically.
good. Let's.
Like in a box or something.
Picking up
I
Let's
don't
have
know
this
where people store things.
somewhere-
I live on a rock.
Let's have this.
I
got
live
it.
in a rock and
large
I
rolling ball for
own a tornado.
It lasts a full day.
I know where we can have this be unleashed. Scene cut. Parliament.
Okay.
As we are doing the scene cut, I'm guessing I'd catch up to the group at that point, and I would explain to them who was actually spreading dissent in the slums.
Okay.
Oh, him?
I have an idea for how to
I should
make
have iced
this
him.
even dumber.
Okay, to specifically clarify, he was not the one spreading dissent. He was the one basically having armed guards ready to capitalize on things.
Yes, fair. I should have been more specific.
So he's probably first in line for a shot.
He seems more like second in line for a shot.
He's waiting for someone else.
He is going to be an opportunist.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Which, like, I get it. I can't really fault him for that. It's still a jerk move, but I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess after I finish shuffling, like, sheepishly shuffling the lumber around, I'm gonna go trot up to repose and, still in full costume because I'm a dumbass. I'm just gonna you can't see it, but I'm blushing and just be like, hey, thanks for the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, scurry away before he can respond.
Okay. So, I have an
really
idea.
just put it in a box, huh?
Are you actually going to take it to Parliament?
I think that would be
It would be the funniest for sure.
it would be the funniest
Okay.
place for it to be
So-
unleashed and Yakuman to fight it.
So, obviously, rebuilding the town is going to take a lot of materials. And who has most of these materials but the merchants themselves?
Mm-hmm.
Obsidian is going to try and talk with the merchants and then sort of organize, get the merchants to come together and sort of have a discussion about how easily would it be and how best productively would it be to obtain the materials to help rebuild the city, which would be very good for the city, and how do we do this efficiently and do this the best possible way. But obviously the merchants, they want to make some money out of this, so how do we save on costs and maybe make a little bit of money out of it? And of course we would gather at the biggest building, the best place for having these sort of discussions, which would be Parliament.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And as for what you need to rebuild, why you might just happen to have a bureaucrat write up a build budget and supply list.
So as the rant goes on, and Repose will, drag this procession of onlookers, which is increasingly populated with actual masons who are taking architecture notes.
Mm-hmm.
You'll, of course, take a tour of all of the devastated areas and eventually segue from talking about individual buildings to talking about urban planning as a whole and how the city is shaped wrong at its foundations and invites disaster by design. And this naturally brings him to the center, which should be the most important place in any subject. And by his very careful measure, it is not at the Parliament building. It's just in the next lot over that isn't being used for anything in particular. There's nothing here. It's just a meadow.
Why did you guys do this? You built it wrong.
No one even grazes in it. Where are your sheep?
It's an empty lot. It's just there.
It's for grain storage.
This alone is the most important patch of land in your entire settlement. You've neglected it. I want to start a fight over this empty lot.
All right.
God
So
damn it, Loon.
meanwhile, around the same time, Parliament plan is beginning as the box is being dragged in. So would Yakuman be in disguise and waiting?
I mean, I would probably notice my brothers were up to something and then just be in the rafters.
I would, of course, be confused by the we did not ask for any sort of delivery to happen yet. Where is this box coming from?
I'm gonna be Spider-Manning in there as he is saying that thing. Don't open the box.
As the box cracks open. Wait, the wrong one. Out comes a horrifying flaming monstrosity!
You idiot! I told you not to open the box.
Oh no! Who will save us from this? I say.
Looks like it's time for a superhero. I'm gonna roll performance to
This is
performance simulation, I guess.
this would probably be strength performance.
I have no strength.
Ooh. What about a solo mock battle with this imaginary opponent?
I mean, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm basically just going to be doing cool flips.
Yeah, it's dexterity performance to pull off the mock battle, I would say.
A 5.
I would
Okay,
like
so I'm
to-
starting to do like Spider-Man drop kicks. You know, like how they're just doing Spider-Man shit, basically.
Can I roll charisma performance to assist him? Just call out, "By hi, Yaku Man!"
Yes, please do.
Give me really shitty advice, like Yaku Man, aim for the hump. It's its source of power.
Yes, please do. Please do.
All right, hold up. I gotta remember what the fucking performance
Please,
excellency.
nice.
I don't know anything about what's going on, but I am extremely yelling out like pawn advice. Watch out for its breath, Yakuman! It'll burn you to ash!
Oh, thanks for this advice, stranger. I don't know. And I back up away from like a really shitty.
Like 3 dice stun. 3 dice stun.
Okay. Do I need to roll anything for this?
You do, and then how well you roll is influencing what Yakuman does
Okay.
next.
Add automatic successes. Okay, yeah, so I'll spend 4. Oh, wait, I can't spend none modes. I only have a 1 performance. Piss.
It'd be funnier if Obsidian like barely succeeds.
Wait, do you
I
have
mean,
an
that
active
acting does serve.
Yeah, I can't. You can only spend up to your skill in the excellency, and I have a 1 in performance.
We've
Yeah.
got to give you another point in performance after this.
We need to get. I probably only had the 1 point before I actually realized how that shit worked, and
I
it's
will
the
let you
first time I'm.
spend 2 because of this.
Okay. This is how he gets that second point of performance.
Yes. This is your training to get performance right here, right now.
Oh no!
Wrong guy.
Wrong
Wrong
guy.
dice.
No, Obsidian, you roll 10d6 again.
Wrong dice.
Yeah, 60
God damn it!
Oh, I was
You got
really
your dice
hoping for a
backwards.
bot.
Damn, actually.
No,
All right.
I hold the advantage.
What a gap!
What the gap?
I'm sorry, I'm still processing how disappointed I am that wasn't a botch. But yeah, no, you're able to just hoot and holler as the Parliament is not in full session, but there were a couple of people there, and they're all just freaking out, but suddenly realizing, wait, hang on, they may have this? They may have this. As someone is deliberately trying to start shit with some sort of horrible demon, elemental, monster, god thing? As Yakuman begins to triumphantly wrestle against the beast, and just climb atop it and fight and wrestle against it as it lets out a horrifying scream. And roll me intelligence occult to both of you in the room and Repose outside. Repose gets +2 dice.
Do I
Well,
roll too?
Yes.
oh wait, shit! This is 2 die for me because right, I got that 1 point of occult for talking with Brother
Yep.
Repose for like an hour over
Mhm.
Mahjong. I almost did it again.
All right.
Whoop, that's 8S. That's one success.
Something in you tells you that scream is the sorcery going wrong rather than the performance going right. Repose outside hears a noise that Repose is only heard described, but upon hearing it, understands instantaneously what it actually is. As in the center of the town, geomagically, as the sorcery twists unexpectedly,
Oh boy.
a very large, very confused, large ape-like figure pops into existence, seeming quite surprised by this development on its own.
What?
It
the
is
fuck?
Huge, hulking, slick with blood, and
Doom.
appears to
Doom.
not understand
Doom.
what has just happened.
Doom!
Is this part of the plan? While I'm saying this in my head, I am slowly dive kicking at this gorilla because this was supposed to be the finishing blow.
Years.
Old man, is this you?
Oh, it's just you and me in the room.
You don't actually understand what's going on because the phantom just disappears. But on the outside, this This isn't a combat scene, Repose. Have fun.
All right, so this blood ape has popped into existence, and Repose is immediately looking over at it side on. Just you did not just step into my territory. You are in my effective range. So the lecture about what is wrong with how the city is built does not cease. Instead, it just continues on. Look what happens.
So wait, is the ape outside?
Yes, it is in the empty lot that Repose was screaming about.
So Repose just kind of gets his hooks into this thing and takes his time wrestling it and throwing it about and just clawing into it.
This blood ape has no idea what had just happened, and it is now in an extreme amount of pain. It was
I
all
didn't
of a
realize
sudden.
this music was for Repose and not the ape.
A bunch of
Anger,
thrashing it
fear,
around, and then just there's probably some point in this where there's a little bit of incoherent anger screaming that eventually tunes back out as he is about to land the finishing hit on this. Pointing at Parliament Dome, at Law Chamber. This place is cursed.
As the people in Parliament come out screaming about an elemental.
I'm just like
as
walking
they're
outside.
screaming out
Like,
of screaming ape on the inside of the building, they see Repose literally pulling a meat ape apart by his bare hands.
wait a minute, you fucking kill stealer!
They run out, see the other one, and then start running back inside.
So long as any soul who dwells here allows their fate to be chained by laws spoken in such profanity, you will have no peace. And just toss the ape at the building as it has been like charged up with sunlight and is probably going to detonate midair. And
No,
you know,
it
follow the
splashes
harmless
into
ash.
sunlight against the side of the building.
Can I establish something?
Sure, go ahead.
There is a grand window in the park that
It smashes through.
It smashes through a grand window that overlooked that meadow.
Yeah, alright. And it sails through, crashes through the window, hits the ground, and explodes.
I say to you, people of the Fallen River, abandon all that has been said within those walls and start again over here,
5 feet this way.
right down the road.
They pretty much immediately start running towards the building to either tear it down or tear the people down, or very strongly word some lines of like reconstructing the building. You're not sure what they're about to do, but it's about to be very
Repose
impactful.
does not care how they choose to implement his words. That is within their freedoms as humans.
This has been the weirdest arc.
Somewhere in the middle of that fight with Repose and the demon, Angler happened to be off on the side, and some people might have noticed him, like, oh, is he going to help out? He just happens to be eating an apple, like, nah, he's got this, guys, don't worry about it. This is like Tuesday to him.
Yeah. So for just as a brief aside, any other PC I would have had that as a one-on-one fight. Repose is now Essence 3 with enough demon killing tools that even one of the like classic kill you dead demons, nah. One of them is not doing anything.
He's got
Repose
this.
is, against anything that the sun hates. Repose is
Nah.
worth 3 of us.
Yup.
Well, yeah, we can't win them all. Whatever. Away!
And Yakuman runs into the street, just honestly not even
Asia's name
noticed
be
by most
praised.
people at this
Eh,
point.
That's fine. My brother had a good time.
Immediately
That's all I care.
recompose and definitely, yeah, the usual procedures for everything to be said, press and narrative wise, after a doomslaying.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, praise the
All right.
dragons. Glory of the earth.
So,
No further comment.
Milan wasn't present for this.
No, Milan was not.
Milan was writing up documents like budget and plans, like what it would take to rebuild the stuff. So I would like to make a intellect bureaucracy roll to make the documents.
Go right ahead. 1 dice done.
It's all right. So all these documents in hand, said, all right, I'm going to walk back into Parliament. I'm going to convince them that, hey, this is what they need to follow, and this is going to work out for the people. It's going to make better public housing and stuff.
It's gonna be great.
And I go to Parliament, and I see people just tearing the building down, and a dead ape demon shattered through the window. And I just stop. And then I approach just some random person one of the people tearing it down, and I just hand him the documents saying, like, here, you figure it out.
They just kind of nod dumbly as they watch the politics.
I don't give it to like someone. I give it to someone who, this is gonna sound weird, who looks like they know how to read.
Yeah. Like, no, that's reason. Like, one of the clerks who is trying to understand why the public is tearing the place apart until they see the demon, and then just go, fair.
No, actually, I'm gonna give it to the one clerk who was fed up with it and is ready to tear this all down.
Okay, they safely pocket the bureaucratic notes, nod, and then start throwing bricks.
Yep.
Okay,
They're protagonists.
Yes.
yes.
Not the first person to throw the punch was us.
The creators
I'm
and
gonna be real.
solvers of most of the problems here.
I'm gonna be real, I might have to end early and think about what the fuck I do next.
Yeah, there's a lot of
We're
things. I just
planning
got-
to go visit
Yeah,
that mystery
I-
cave down the road. Now it's time to go right down the road. Now that
I
we've
think this
convinced
is
the
time to
city
just-
to explode.
Leave town.
Our
We're
work
done
here is done.
Well, bye.
As a note, going to the cave would probably be the next thing to do, yes. But also, Crumb did mention that Crumb wanted to go to bed early-ish, and the cave will be longer than the half hour to an hour. I will just say
Yep.
that now.
So we can wind down
Yeah.
here on
Sorry.
No,
starting
it's not
from
like
some
you
intense
genuinely
in-character
have
lore
to
talk,
hear-
and then ending with, let's just go start a riot. Let's just bond over some good old-fashioned, slightly discriminate violence. Not
Let's
entirely
just-
indiscriminate, not entirely targeted. There's a general direction of violence we will establish.
There's a vibe. We're punching up.
Let's de-escalate this one incident and start our own incident.
Let's
I
escalate.
slew
Let's
the
do a
Doom.
controlled
They
escalation.
decided to actually follow the Doom into the building. I can only advise on appropriate forms of violence.
If any sort of, because he would do this, rampant looting happens and starting to head towards some of the more nefarious elements of what happens in a riot, some of those people are probably going to wake up unconscious like a day later for whatever reason.
Yeah, anybody who's like trying to redirect the riot into being bad is going to probably get anglered.
Good.
After Repose has come down from Doomoid High, he will actually wade into the crowd that's dismantling the building and, like, actually, if anyone is being trampled or mauled, he will pluck them out of the crowd and carry them out of the crowd and plant them down in the meadow and then go back in to retrieve more people who will probably be quite dumbfounded and not fall back into the flow of
To the
things.
rioting.
So
Obsidian
be
with
glad
high
they're going to
five.
the safe, tranquil spot at the center, where everyone can agree to talk about things. Over there, in
Obsidian
the
with
meadow.
high
It's
five
better.
Yang at a job well done. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do arson more, buddy.
We did it.
We did it! We saved the city burning in the background. Fuck me, I've never had that image be so literal.
So did my ape start bleeding or something? I wasn't paying attention. That shouldn't have happened, right?
Hey, old man, since when can you summon Doomoids?
Yeah, that wasn't me.
What do you mean that wasn't you?
That wasn't me.
What other sorcerer do we have in an 11-mile radius? Well,
Good luck
Hey,
with that.
remember how there was doom? We sensed doom last time we went to Parliament.
did we?
Yeah, there was this.
There was a faint stank of residual doom.
Oh, maybe it's always been haunted.
Let's not think of this anymore.
Yeah, let's just leave. Fuck it. Not a problem.
And on that note, on
Count-
the adventure goes.
How can have little doom? That's a treat.
Well, I mean, they're already fixing it. They're not going to be where the Doom is.
If we're
They're
being
where the Doom
frank,
isn't.
most all right, so like cutting to like an interstitial interview with beyond the fourth wall. You know, all right, could you can the Doom music, as perhaps
Yes.
Yeah.
interstitial interview with Repose, as though this were a documentary after the fact. You know, most towns are more haunted than they realize. Nobody lays proper foundations, not in this age.
That was a reality show. Just cut to
Reality show
Repose.
cut of just.
I make 20,000 silver a day, and I'm my own boss.
This is like that fucking ghost show where one of them is a home inspector, except the home inspector's like, oh shit, you actually do have demons in here, fuck.
Camera cuts to Milan sitting in his interview booth, just sitting there quietly, looking crestfallen. I just destabilized an independent government entity on behalf of the Empire.
Yep.
Yeah, you sure did!
We did it in a way that's not really linked to you, though. I mean,
Great.
you know.
Somewhere,
Whatever
grandmother
works.
smiles as you imperialize without thinking that you're imperializing.
Great
We're
grandma.
doing a good thing, the realm in the background. Yes, you are, grandson.
And
That's
the
our
joke,
grandson.
the joke continues of Milan doing things accidentally.
Without thinking too much about it.
This is Gaia's law. Nature's law.
Fuck me.
First
Oh
you rip,
my God.
then you
I'm gonna
tear.
have to spend this whole week thinking about how the hell I'm gonna deal with this.
Remember when I burned down towns because I didn't like bad people, and then it spun into something that I wasn't actually expecting?
You hit every tripwire that I set that I didn't think you would, and that's the fucking problem, is that players always do that. Oh my God.
A lot of this started with, we're never going to go to Parliament. And then we went to Parliament.
And then I
Parliament
tried to end the scene with a natural segue away, and then you just kept going.
No.
No.
And
You
then I
called
was in
this.
Parliament.
I'm
The
really
day
sorry
before-
about Parliament.
The
Because
day
this is
before,
me.
we're just traveling. We think, hey, I wonder how that society works. Cut to title card. The gang destroys a country.
I just wanted to learn if, like, maybe there's a better replacement.
I can
Soldiers can't be trusted with the power they have. Smash Cut Dragon Bloods cannot be trusted with the power they have.
Look, there is a way for republics to improve themselves. It's called civil war, followed by dictatorship, followed by civil war, followed by republic, followed by civil war, followed by dictatorship. I hope you see the pattern. That's bureaucracy. It's fine.
Oh, fuck me. Next time, I genuinely have no idea what the fuck aside from the cave.
Ants.
We just go to cave.
Ants.
And it's fine.
Ants. Don't talk about civil war. Just talk about ants.
Don't think about what we just did. Go poke the ants.
Next time.